Hello everyone, Dungeon Frog here, and today we are trying out the new code snap of power. And yeah, it's a pretty fun skill, I have to say. I really do enjoy playing this build, and we're playing as an assassin today. And it was pretty easy to even start with the build. Like, when I grabbed the first node, I already, yeah, like, with power charge on critical as a support. And yeah, that's pretty much all you need for the moment. I think the increased critical strike will help also to keep up those power charges. I will just show you quickly a bit of the skill tree, because like this node, when we got this node, it was fine. Like I picked it up like in act 3, so yeah, from that point I could play with the build. Got the power charge here pretty early, and then went to the other power charge node, which is like pretty good. I think these ones are also not bad. We got some life, which is a bit tiny, but I think like that's the problem of the shadow starting area. There's not that much life to get, but yeah, we take some defensive nodes for other defense abilities. I'm not sure if Ghost Dance will be worth it in the end. Maybe we try out. I'm maybe maxing out some leeching. The damage is pretty nice, and I want to showcase you the build. It's just the beginning, so I just started to map in softcore, which is like for me pretty strange. And as you can see, it's pretty fun. Like, we don't have really big problems to sustain our charges as long as we hit with our first hit. And that's like actually like a fun thing. Like, sometimes you do like this and hit nothing with your first hit, and then it's a bit rough, then you have to probably like disengage. But yeah, just be careful to not press your button to nowhere. Like, if you miss the first hit, it's rough. But yeah, you usually shouldn't. And if you hit like once, that's fine, and then you can go on. But that's also the reason why I'm not using Flame Dash, which is usually my movement skill. We are using Frost Blink. And this helps us, because like, if we don't have any charges, and especially in the leveling phase, where this can happen a bit more frequent, we can just Frost Blink to get most of the time another charge, so that we can continue casting. And that's maybe one of the reasons why I'm not really getting everything out of casting speed, which I could. So I do have a lot of casting speed, especially in the endgame build, but at the moment, yeah, I think even if it's like for the pure DPS better, I don't want to push it too hard, because like, the power charge can be a problem sometimes, probably. I will have to test it out when I'm getting to my rings, which also have casting speed. And yeah, softcore, I think it's a really good build for softcore, because like, if you die, it's not that bad. It has like real fun potential. Like, we can freeze bosses pretty frequently. It's fun to play. The AoE could be a bit bigger. I think if you really want to have bigger AoE, then you could go occultist. But then I think the charge generation will be a bit more scuffed. But yeah, maybe I should try it out, or maybe someone else already did. I think occultist might work also, but I really enjoying the trickster gameplay, because like the elusive part with all the extra movement speed is like pretty good. My golem with all the defensive gems is pretty okay in surviving. He does a decent job. And I'm just starting to fill my atlas. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, probably. Yeah, this boss probably has like an invincibility phase, because I think he would die a bit faster otherwise. But yeah, that's pretty much the build in action. I think it's really cool, really fun. And yeah, I mean, I have some gear standard, so it's pretty easy to get some gear. So I just want to showcase you quickly my gear and don't die.
Just need a moment to catch
Yeah,
my breath.
that was interesting. Yeah, the gear. Let's check it out. I have those cool gloves, which are better for physical builds, but they're pretty still nice. Like the increased damage against chilled enemies, which is pretty much all the time thanks to our skiller bots, really helps. Also, cold exposure on hit gives us the cold exposure, so we don't need one more skill point, which we could easily get for the exposure in the cold tree. We got a nice belt with some basic stats. The gems, yeah, they're all like get some life, get some crit multi, and probably cold damage would be nice. Phasing, like everything you need. Probably it might be smart, especially in the end game, to get some immunities to elemental alignments. These boots really do help us with our DPS. Like it's like probably a million DPS increase, really strong for this build. My rings are, yeah, not the final rings. I'm just wearing them because, like, it helps me with my resistances. Malian's Fallacy also really big DPS increase, and as a as a assassin, we really have a lot of crit rating, so we can definitely afford it. Yeah, like 2 nice casting wands. We don't use a shield because, like, yeah, who cares about defenses in softcore? Definitely need to upgrade my flasks. And yeah, for the skill tree, I will switch quickly to PoB. Feel free to ask something in the chat or give me any recommendations. I'd be really happy about that. So let me just go into town. Maybe we don't get punished there. So yeah, I will switch to PoB, where we see the talent tree. So here you can see pretty much the same. Yeah, at the moment I use pretty much my gear, just a generic setup for gems. The gear I'm wearing is here, pretty much the same. And on level 96 we have decent damage against pinnacle bosses like Cyrus. It's pretty okay. We have some mana, and I'm not sure I'm using at the moment this mana node because it's like easy for leveling to get. I might switch to Deep Thoughts just because of the 20 intelligence gives us some defense, but I'm not sure. You might even drop it. Like, you might not need the mana, especially if you have some mana on gear or a ring with less mana costs. I'm not sure about this point. Yeah, we grab any life what we get. We can have corrupted blood here. So this might be droppable if you get a corrupted ring, a jewel, which helps you with that. We are pretty nice kept on chaos resist. I think, yeah, we take here the extra exposure. We take some cold damage here, the power charge node. I have at the moment Purity of Flash augmented. I think the power charge would be also really nice. It does add a lot of damage and a lot of mana regen for the build, so I think both options are pretty fine. Like, I'm a hardcore player usually, so I prefer to be a bit more defense, but probably the power charge might be smarter. The double curse setup will go through a totem at some point. I'm not using it now because, like, I don't feel the need for it at the moment. I'm pretty safe, and because I'm wearing yeah, like having nice intelligence, I probably will put here at some point so I get more defensively. And yeah, just so you can see what I turned on. It's not much. Like use power charges, of course. That's like the main gist of our build. We are elusive, which helps a lot with our effective hit point pool. And we're pretty much all the time elusive. And of course, I'm trying to fight a boss. That's what I'm having like my DPS here for. Yeah, and exposed to cold because like we do this with every hit. The skill tree is pretty much the same as I do. I don't have the stone golem here the setup, just letting him. I'm not sure how well he will survive, but I have the feeling he's pretty good at surviving and helps a bit with our regeneration. We later will have probably a big ES leech. I'm not sure if this will be worth it. At the moment I only have the first node, but yeah, that's like probably our main way of defensive, other than having like some life, but it's not so great. But also we have the elusive, so we're pretty hard to hit, and if there are 2 or more enemies we are pretty safe. Also we have crit reflect, and we probably can go to 100% crit. We're pretty good in elusiveness, and yeah, this node does give us a lot of damage, and this helps with our sustain. So I went first this node, and I only would recommend going this node first if you want to start the build like right from the start. Like if you level with something else, then probably this node will make you level faster. But yeah, I took this, and yeah, when I'm finishing the lab, I will take this one, and I will probably do another vid at that point when I have the build a bit more in the endgame. So far, I'm really having fun. Like, this is the only AoE node I have. There might be a reason, like especially if we can drop this too, to get some more AoE here. Just because then it feels more smoother. Yeah. So that's pretty much the build. I have a lot of fun. I hope you will enjoy the build too. See you in the next one. Goodbye.